Hi folks, welcome again to the World Cup. So second game I'm recording this evening and we are watching the matchup between Bulgaria and Slovenia once again. So yeah, not a good start for us. Bulgaria has won the first two and we really need to win the third one, but it's going to be tricky because this is a very strong Night's Watch deck, Aloof and apart, with all the big characters. So this deck was hit a little bit with the latest restricted list. You can no longer play Satin if you include the Great Ranging. And they're not in a pod actually, they're just restricted. Yeah, Great Ranging along with Samuel Tarley and Jon Snow as the big characters, Bow and Marsh of course as well here, with lots of stewards that can gain insight. And there is also the watch has need. If you name the steward trait, you can get some big numbers there. So it's a deck that draws really well, has strong big characters, and at the same time it still defends the wall, which can be slightly tricky to get into play. There's no location search. However, there is plenty of insight, and of course, I did not mention the three-finger hob as well, and some very high reserve because the deck plays two maidens and then the 7 plots, which of course all have 8 reserve plus whatever modifiers you get on top of them. On top of that, and Night's Watch can get some. So Morgulis is the reset and there is Outwit to counter the opponent's reset. Particularly, I guess, the Harris would hurt this deck because of all the big characters. You need a Meister. There is one that is always played, of course, Meister Aemon. And there is also Samuel Tarley is a Meister, one of the big guys. What else? Milks and Cravens, of course. So when you do get the wall, quite easy to defend. And if there's anything with power, you can red cook it. So that's another interesting way to win games potentially. Has the game started? It has. Let's just join it. So we'll have a look at what happened in setup in a second. So just to show you the other deck. So this is a white book deck. Tyrell for Slovenia plays a lot of knights, as you can see here by all the sirs. And yeah, as you would expect, turning for the king, there are kings and queens, Marjorie and Renly, so that the white book can stand attackers, and there's some king's guards. Yeah, economy has the red one strengths and the arbor, but also some other stuff, so there isn't political disaster. No, apart from Lady Sansa's Rose, no real power grabbing events here. So nothing out of the ordinary, just a lot of power gain for the Knight of Flowers and some other renown, and the tourney. Two white swords can put stuff into play, serve as economy basically. Two resets if you count for snow, so there is green apple knights and some other little ones that can be hurt by first snow, but generally it can be pretty decent in this deck. Morgulis as well, and okay, Brand the Builder can search for some cards, nothing really major in this deck. And the important one is of course tourney, so if this is not answered, if the board grows to 10 knights or so, then things get dangerous. Yeah, and I think this deck will need to be pretty quick today to have a chance of beating Night's Watch. And here we have this open deck lists format, so players happy to set up just Jon Snow with the King's Road, doesn't need any protection because he's not getting marched. And on the other side, so this is already in the first marshalling phase, we now have Barristan and Green Apple Knight. At the moment needs another one to become non-kneeling. White Cloak on Barristan Selmy, so this can get a little loop going if you are lucky with that. So we also have the Arbor, so economy is set. We have the White Sword Tower, this is important, so if the wall is in play and there is a big strength battle, then Night's Watch has a big advantage usually, but yes, this and I guess Sir Bryce Caron, if he sees play, there is only one copy, can swing that the other way, and we have two cards in shadows. Now what is the controversy with gold? Alright, so Peter should have one gold more, and that means he changes things a little bit, and instead of the white cloak he puts in Elinor. Yeah, seems fine, but she's not using her ability. No extra Rose Road or anything like that. Now let's see. Here we go. Duped Great Ranging. Yeah, so Morgulis again in both decks. Interesting. I think some players are quite happy to include that in open deck lists, so that the opponent can just play everything. So duped and Jon Snow, and here come the stewards. Well, that's pretty good. What can I say? Throwing a two-coster that can dupe himself. I was about to say, okay, you can find some big guys, but difficult to play them this round. But yeah, here he is. One important thing though, no wall yet and no power icon. And this is can be a slight weakness. So there is no Jeremy Riker here. Not enough Rangers anyway. He's the guy that gives Rangers the power icon, right? Yeah, so there is more focus on stewards. So what has the power icon? Samuel has it, Spareboot has it, there's an old Tetrasalt, Cold Hands and Bone Marsh. I think these are the only power icons. So I guess those Cravens will need to go on the big characters with the power icon. Otherwise it's trouble. Yeah, not willing to take a dupe here. Now let's see. So Jon Snow can stand himself. Oh, he can also stand Great Ranging, yeah, so that's not doing much. Yeah, so don't mind getting unopposed here, unopposed power, because it won't be stolen back. There's no power icon. 2 copies of the Galtown, but no gold at the moment, and I'm not seeing a way to get it. Potentially later on with Old Forest Hunters, that could happen. Now does Great Ranging just defend his hand and get another card for insight, or not? Jon Snow defends it. So I guess Great Ranging will try to get the... I was going to say get the Intimidate, of course she needs anyway. Now if Great Ranging does military, then Sir Baristan Selmy can save. He stands in the process, but he gets intimidated by the Great Ranging, which would tie dominance then, right? that's exactly what happens. But now there is power to steal on the faction card, so let's see what comes into play. Problem is it's difficult to reset this, so if we see Bone Marsh and other stuff now, it's going to be tricky here for Peter, because Morgulis is not going to reset them successfully now that there are dupes, and Harris is not in the deck. And of course first snow against Aloof and apart is just unfortunate. So out with in the deck anyway. And did we see Meister Raymond with that Watcher's Need earlier? I think we did. So I think the game plan possibly, and hoping not to get cravened too much, would be just to spam as many knights as possible and prepare for a big tourney. And then if Ivan is forced to play his own Morgulis, then of course the dupes go. But that's yeah, a bit into the future, so lots of things can change by then. Lots of gold and 2 cards in shadows. Marjorie. Okay, so now the agenda works with on attack basically, because she is a queen. She has an ability that can mess things up a little bit, but yeah, against Jon Snow we'll see. We'll see how much work that does, but it's a strong board, and the dupe and the white cloak. He actually has a bit of a loop with this, right? Because he can kneel to save one character, and then when he's knelt he can stand to save another, and yeah, what's the situation? So there is a lady here and a lady here. A few more would be nice actually to get that loop going. And 5 gold remaining. Yeah, so I was going to say, let's see the cards in shadow. So Pinch of Powder is 1. The Knight of Flowers, of course, Sir Robert Strong, Sir Mendon Moore. Is there anything else? No. Old Bill Bone, I guess, also here. And some ambush, but only 1 card here. Could be, I guess, Olena's Informant in theory. Now let's see if there is a power icon. Yeah, Mirkon Baristan stops that loop, because his ability now doesn't work. And here comes the potential to play big Morgulis, because there's 3 dupes and a save for Jon Snow. And I was going to say, Marjorie needs a milk as well, because she is annoying if she pulls characters into challenge, but gets Craven instead. So that keeps her out of challenges. However, we have a non-kneeler, and we have 2 big power icons, and none on the other side. Now Late Summer Feast is going to give cards away against 9 reserve, which is unfortunate. But I think you need to go for it. Econ pretty bad, nothing so far, so agenda helps with characters, doesn't help with the wall. What's the situation with that? Let's see, yeah, well, 2 big Smith plots, the 7 plots. Smith, the Father, the Crown, so all of those still available. This is the second maiden, right? So they all have 6 gold. So that's Jon Snow's ability gone for this round. I guess even he's getting to that 9 cards in hand, right? So and if this one works, Sir Robert Royce is a Kingsguard and so is Baristan. So they can stand with the agenda. Too bad that the renown is also gone, of course, with that milk. And they can go for a power challenge. Yeah, not willing to take any dupes here. Okay, now that Aemon is gone. Okay, that's interesting. Now he could potentially die in the Morgulis, of course. But these two would be saved, and he still saves Jon Snow, but then all the dupes and Aemon are gone, and then you have Outwit. Still need to play another Meister. But this is not a board you really want to lose, right? So again, we're going a bit into the future here. So using Baristan for the power challenge. If there was off to Galtown, I guess that wouldn't really be enough. So since he's the biggest character, I would have considered using Elinor instead, especially since he has the white cloak. And after all of this, there isn't that much power, only 4 gained. But it will stay, because there's no power icon at the moment. Yeah, let's see what this does. So he can't defend the first one, and Intimidate is coming, but no more stand, right? And I don't see a way to intimidate the intrigue icons to give Hob the chance. What do you do with the claim here, is the question. So he was doing work with that white cloak, right? So I think power with someone else would have been alright. Okay, losing Elinor. How many copies are there of her? 2 copies. And that opens up the intrigue challenge now. So that went pretty well here for Ivan. He's going to lose dominance. Let's see what the last card was. There is still white swords, right? Okay, this doesn't work with white swords, unfortunately. So it was a card that you really need to keep in hand, unfortunately, but okay. Still a card in shadows. And ahead on power and decent in the board state now. What do we do if Ivan plays Morgulis is the question. I guess has to be Bran the Builder. I'm not seeing another plot that does anything great. Could go for a very early tourney. Then if you do play Morgulis with no economy and yeah, you leave. Ooh. Okay. Let's forget about that. So we have the first snow and we have the crown, which means it won't return the finger, the 3-finger hob to hand, which would force him to lose the dupe. But it also won't return Green Apple Knight now. There is sometimes a plan where you play first snow specifically to get the cards back to hand so that they don't die to Morgulis. So this is not going to happen with the knight here, but it will happen with Sir Robert Royce. That's a good one here. Very good one. Lots of econ. So pleasure part won't hurt, and hopefully something useful was gained. Well, dupes first of all would be very useful. Okay, this deck plays two different versions of Sir Jaime. This is the one that can spread some intrigue icons around and some renown, but in quite specific circumstances. Okay, I was quite enjoying the no econ from the Night's Watch side as a slightly biased viewer here, but this will help enormously. And now, what do you not want to see here if you are Peter? I think the wall is one thing, and yeah, the other Meister, Samuel Tarly. With a dupe, of course. Well, there were 9 cards in hand, so, or even more than that, right? So, yeah, can use the reducer. He's not going away for first now either. And we have the red cook taking Jaime, which deters the military challenge. So the question is, when military happens, since this guy cannot leave play, you have to kill something else. So I guess on this occasion I would really try to keep Boris and Selmy standing with his white cloak, just to save Marjorie and not lose any board state or any dupes here. Now going for military, that could... Let's see what Ivan does. Now, does he try to defend it? Currently he cannot even successfully defend it if he wanted to, so I guess he's killing off that Jaime. And there's 3 copies of Jaime, so that's unfortunate. Not sure if this was worth it, especially since there is no renown and no unopposed. The power is the big one, so maybe going with power, with Baristan, and then using the agenda to stand him was the play here. Samuel currently not strong enough to successfully defend that. And here comes that sequence again, right? So trying to get some kind of stealth for a big intimidate and hopefully get a power challenge through, at least some unopposed intrigue or something. Still something in shadows. If it's Old Bill Bone, he could mess up with Outwit a little bit if you leave him there for the standing phase to near the faction card. Could also be Pinch or another character. Yeah, so this one you can defend with... No, you can't defend with Baristan because he needs to save, right? With the white cloak, so I guess the only option is Green Apple Knight, if you don't want to leave it unopposed. Okay. Yeah, that assault is actually doing some work. Can be done in marshalling to get a bunch of these events, but it can be used in challenges, of course, for the power. Okay. Duplicate. Doesn't want to kneel Baristan Selmy. But surely she gets intimidated anyway. And now Samuel should be able to push through the power challenge. And that dupe being lost here is potentially could hurt. We'll see. Because Baristan is going to die anyway and still has the white cloak, so he can save her once. Yeah, doesn't really matter which one she defends. And that's not bad at all. It's the one card that was already dead. And I believe dominance goes to the Tyrell deck here. And it's pretty close. Big hand advantage here, but... And the dupes, of course. But we'll see. Does he pull the trigger on Morgulis? It could backfire. He could just try to win from here with this board state. It's doing alright. He's played the maiden, so he could go first with Intimidate. Morgulis from the other side. Alright. Slightly unexpected. Maybe he was expecting a double Morgulis here, trying to kill all of them. So okay, he can save Marjorie, right? But that's about it. And now he has a really bad round with this. And if Ivan finds the other dupes, which he could easily do, just needs a good watch his need with plenty of reserve, then he is protected against his own Morgulis. If the players get that far, he could also delay it until round 7 now. And it's sticky. And yeah, those knights that were posing some kind of threat for a tourney for the king are now gone. But there is still a lot of stuff that is alive. Yeah. Underground Waltz turned off this round miraculously because Pleasure Barge is just reducing it down to 4 again. And here we go. 9 cards searched, and yeah, if there's dupes, now they were already duped, so there can only be one copy of each still in... Yeah. What was I saying? So yeah, finds the dupe for 2 more characters, so he can still play the aggressive Morgulis now. All 3 in fact. Finds a dead Jon Snow as well. He's not coming back. And now the wall. And now the 6 strength power icon looking alright. was a little bit of a weakness at the start, but yeah, Peter couldn't really push the advantage. He goes for more draw, and what does he have left? So still has the white swords. He's negating the arbor a little bit with his pleasure badges, but still has a white swords that can put the character into play from the hand, right? Even if it's not in the discard pile. We have Garland with no bestow. He gets the white cloak, which means he will be able to save Marjorie. I think. We'll see. So, Great Ranging has Intimidate, but it's the only military icon, so can't just do Intrigue to intimidate him first and then do military with someone else. And if Great Ranging does military, then of course Claim happens before Intimidate. But I don't think that's a worry at this point anymore, because he's just going to push the challenges through and get the wall, so he's getting close to victory here, within a round basically, I think. And what's the situation with him? Yeah, so he has he can stand on the power challenge, can stand Great Ranging, right? Yeah, so it does kind of work out, and he gains the power. So something getting killed potentially, and a lot of unopposed and power gained here. So no reason not to defend. Yeah, this is not looking so good now. Board is gone. So power next with Samuel to stand Great Ranging. And then it will do unopposed military, so this is unopposed power with Samuel's reaction. Oh, 9 reserve. So he needs 10. Keep forgetting that. So that's the highest one, is to stand another character, and you need 8 to gain 1 power. And you can, let's say, almost always draw a card. So that's 12 power. Difficult to imagine a comeback, because even if miraculously White Swords is played and puts something big into play, how do you nil the wall? Even doesn't need to push anything through anymore, can just wait it out here. And he's just going to play the father or something like that with a decent 6 gold. Now what's this trying to cancel? White Swords? It can, I guess, if he wants to, but he's needing his only power icon. I would just let it go, personally, because he's winning either way. He cancels it. That's the only one that had a when revealed ability, right? Interesting. Wouldn't personally bother with that. I think the game is won if he just defends the wall one more time. But I guess he has so many cards, and he has the... Now what do these give now? So it's 4 and -2 and +3, yeah. I will give 2 gold. So plenty of gold to marshal something else. Not that many power icons in the deck, but I'm guessing he will find some. We have a Craven and cannot attack on the first one, so Makes it very difficult to do any challenges at all. He was there all along, probably. Just in case. Who wins dominance? Is it game over if Ivan just passes? Yeah, it is. Yeah, no way back. I think slightly early Margulis there. That yeah, took away the chance. Now if he did guess correctly and played Margulis into Margulis, then we would have had an interesting situation. Not sure what Ivan would have done from there without the characters that survived, but I guess we won't know. But yeah, so the only chance, we did play a test game earlier and Nightwatch won that one as well, but there is a slight chance with the power icons. Basically, if you can push the power challenges through early on, and if the wall isn't in play, then there is some power to be gained. Of course, Cravens slow it down and the Mirks to stop the renown, and it's not so easy. And yeah, 15 is a big number, and the deck is not really that fast in playing a bunch of those little knights that can get a good tourney. And there is some anti-synergy with first snow as well, kind of going in two different directions depending on what you need. And unfortunately in this game, getting a good first snow against Aloof and apart is, yeah, by definition is not something that works, basically, since the agenda is supports the high cost characters. So yeah, good one for Bulgaria here. They win 3 out of 3 in the first 3 games, so difficult to come back from here, but who knows. So yeah, I think that's all we had for tonight. So thanks for joining me, and hopefully we can get you some of tomorrow's games, maybe from this pairing. We'll see. I might record my own game, but I won't be doing live commentary on that one. But if not, we can show you, of course, some of the games from the other teams, and maybe some live streaming over the weekend as well. We'll see if there is time. So thanks for joining me tonight, and see you next time.